Yeah, something's going on. There's so much misinformation. NASA, all we're getting is Michael Yeager, and so this, and Ray hits a point of self-doubt himself. Whenever somebody is in something where they're pretty much the expert, they're very confident, and then they hit something that they just cannot explain, they suddenly say, "Well, I'm not the expert," and it's some big, huge doubt that's hit. They have a responsibility. They think they know everything, and so Ray has hit a big wall of doubt too. All right, let's get on the comment thread, and let's try to get online as early as possible this evening. So let me get my schedule, and I'll send you some Skypes, and we'll coordinate something. But I want you to watch Ray's astrophotography if you can, if you have time, and then also.
So at what time are you? What time should I come online? You want to do a Zoom today?
I'd like to do Zoom, but it's going to have to be in about 3 or 4 hours.
Okay, fine.
So
after 3 hours, 3 to 4 hours.
yes, but this morning it's just going to be the comment thread. So I'm going to do a half hour live, and then leave the comment thread open for you guys to chit chat. I mean, you guys do great there. But I'm going to go in the direction of looking at Ray's clouds and comet video. That's an hour long, and it's impactful.
Sure.
See you online, my friend. Namaste.
Yes.
All right, everybody. Welcome to this morning's episode. God, I hate to call it episode. I hate to call it a show because that's not really what it is. But here we are. We have to give it a name. Things are just moving so incredibly fast that we have to make analysis. I'll let y'all listen to the last final moments of the conversation that I had with Partha. This is only going to be a half-hour live, but the comment threads are going to be open for the rest of the day, they're going to be open for the rest of the day. When I close this thread down, then I'll open the next one up so the comments can keep going. Here's the deal. I've left 2 links on the show notes on the show notes, or what do we call it in I don't know, the description. All right, I've left 2 links to the description. We started with the intersection of the comets. Then we've seen clearly that there's a misinformation campaign, and visually we're seeing two greeny shiny objects coming together over Venus. But Ray's astrophotography, he uses his own 11-inch telescope, and he did a live yesterday looking at comets Atlas and Swan, and it was fascinating. Okay, it appears from his, and I trust Ray. Okay, I trust Ray. I do not trust the live.com, livesky.com, NASA, or any of those guys. I just trust the people who have eyes on the objects. So what Ray shows, and it gets, let's see, 15 minutes into his 53 minute long live, shows Swan going in a direction that it's supposed to be going in, and then underneath is Comet Atlas, but it's in pieces, and they're identified. His local software identifies the different pieces of Comet Atlas. So something happened to Comet Atlas, and I was talking to Partha about this, and I'll pull up the video. It's going to take me a while to dig it up, but Igor I always keep Against the Grain, his YouTube channel. He's been monitoring Atlas. He's the first guy. He's the first guy that was on it, and he has pretty good telescopic equipment, and he has determined that Comet Atlas and was taking its track, and his observations weren't meeting up with what NASA was telling us. And then finally, he's watching it one night. I say finally, he's watching it one night and recording it, and it's alive. And all of a sudden, this zappy thing hits Comet Atlas, and Comet Atlas bounces, and then all of a sudden comes back to its alignment, and the zappy thing goes away. And I saw it, and also, well, the only reason I saw it is because Data 1B4 saw it, and he made a post about it, this odd thing that happened to Atlas. And then that's right when we started hearing about it being disintegrated. And so we were all confused by that. But then, you line up what happened with Igor, and something happened there. I mean, his telescopic system, nothing else moved, nothing else happened, and he isn't one to play with video like that, and it was all happening live. So something happened to Atlas out in space that is not normal at all. And I've also left. Well, to finish on Ray's on what Ray is observed, and Ray's commentary, starting at 10 minutes, he hits a point where everybody who's pretty well versed in something, they don't consider themselves experts, but if you've been studying the sky for 10 years, you've invested 5, 10 grand, 15 grand into a telescope setup, maybe even more. Then you've got a pretty good feel for what you're dealing with. And at 10 minutes into his live video, and it's alive, so just like me, everybody's like, well, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Because it doesn't come to me. I don't have a director. I don't have a team except for the great and awesome Andrew helping me. Yeah, I dropped the music. Sorry. Still working on this stuff, guys. I have to do all my own production, and my production assistant is in Kent, England, and I'm in Spain. So, hello, everybody. Hello. So, Ray hits a moment of self-doubt, and Partha and I, who are in IT, always are dealing with people that are greater than our skills and lesser than our skills, and we often see somebody that is lesser in our skills, trying to tell us our business. And then, when we push back, or, let them see where they're failing, well, they suddenly throw up their hands. They say, well, I'm not the expert. And we've all seen that. Somebody working on a project, building something, they think that it's not like they talk to the expert. They're just doing the thing, and they hit a very difficult situation. And they're like, well, I'm not the expert. And Ray does that. So what's happened with Atlas, what's happened with Swan, their naming conventions, everything just doesn't pass any sniff test. And he throws up his hands and says, not throws up his hands, but he says, I'm not the expert. So I want everybody, this is only going to be a half-hour live, because we're repositioning everything. Our investigative our investigative, what's the word we use? Um, Investigative train of thought, for lack of a better word, and more sophisticated. It's still pretty early here in Spain, even though it's 11 o'clock. Um, that the 23rd, the intersection uh, of those two comets, that's done. So Comet and Atlas, for what I've been talking about, is done. Um, why did I get all worked up? Because there's misinformation in the system. Observation and misinformation. You have to go with your observations. And Ray's the same way. You know, he's trusting the system. He's trusting the system. Well, the system isn't making sense to him anymore. You know, so he's having a kind of an epiphany and awakening himself. So let's go watch his live video and see what you make of it, and then uh, become familiar with the Thunderbolts project and the reason why the electrician in the thread, Absolute, isn't surprised by much of anything that we see in space. We just need good science to explain it to us. Well, the Thunderbolts project is the place where all of us of the electric universe gather. And I've left a link to their recent project and talking about the asteroid that suddenly came to life and became a comet. And um, and it Thunderbolts project always has explanation. Academic science, which we've been relying upon, is always surprised and always surprised, always surprised. Well, when you're working with somebody on a project and you have a good bit of experience and the things that you say and do pan out, but the guy you're working with is always surprised, we're like, do you know what you're doing here? You shouldn't be. I mean, you have papers telling me that you know what you're doing and that you're an expert. Why are you constantly surprised if you're an expert? So the Thunderbolts project is not surprised by anything that they're seeing. They haven't made any commentary on Atlas that I've seen yet, and its breakup and its disintegration. So waiting to hear about that. Where are we now as a project? Well, we're hanging on for dear life. Thank you very much. Things are moving so fast and so insane that we are turning. I am turning to people that I consider experts because, frankly, as a technical person, as a person involved in a project, my observations are not helping this project move forward. And that's why you bring in other team members and other experts and you build a project that you manage. And that's where I'm at right now. I've topped my capabilities. I can speak the language of various people that are involved in the project, but people have come in with a lot more expertise. Partha being that person. And then there was Mohammed yesterday who was um, dropping gems. And we have people that work with Partha who also make independent observations. Um, and then we have ZZZZ. So many people have come here and say something is going to happen the 28th. And this is where the project is now. Right now I am on blind faith because I know what I've seen in the skies and what is happening. Two cloud covers. Partha is experiencing a highly charged environment. So I don't know if you've been to India. I don't know if you've been to Bangalore. And I know many of you have experienced static electricity, where you build up a charge and you shock your little brother or your little sister a lot till you get in trouble. Well, that happens when you're in a dry environment, and it's usually winter, and so that way you build up static electricity. It's really hard to build up static electricity in a hot, humid environment. It doesn't happen, quite frankly, because you need that dry environment to generate that static, to generate electricity. Well, Partha and many of his friends and colleagues in India and Bangalore are shocking the shit out of each other. He was telling me he didn't use that language because that Partha doesn't speak that way, but he's experiencing and has been experiencing a lot of static electricity, and he knows in his electrical experience he should not be experiencing that. So there's a lot of booms that are happening that are electrical booms over India. Just happened again yesterday in an area where one of his colleagues and friends works in. You can contact people in that area and yeah, we heard the 5-second boom again ourselves. Something is happening in space that is generating this. And all I can do is from here in Spain on this peninsula is throw rocks and see what hits, because there's observations happening, and we have to make conclusions ourselves, because the people that we pay to do this aren't helping us. There's a reason why. I mean, it's so obvious how NASA is so silent, and so is JPL, and so is the European Space Agency. All the telescopes that are available are shut down, and those that are running are being run by highly controlled groups. So we're not getting any disinformation like NASA would normally do. All we're getting is the Space Live, spaceweather.com, and the ever curious Michael Yeager. All right. So 28th now. Why the 28th? Strictly faith. Right now I'm on faith. I've had a number of people tell us, not me, they tell us here in the group. Andrew's experienced it. Epic, good morning. Hope your tea is good. So they've told us on blind faith, not told us on blind faith, they've told us, and I'm taking it on blind faith right now. I don't know what's coming the 28th. Something's happening the 28th. If nothing happens the 28th, I'm fine. But I'm putting all of my resources in faith. And why I brought up static electricity is because Muhammad said, listen, guys, in the Muslim tradition, which we follow pretty closely because it really turns out to be right in predictions. So that's why we call the prophet, because the stuff he warns about, we pay attention to, and look, there it is. So right now, his country is preparing for an EMP on the 28th. The United States of America issued an executive order signed by the President of the United States on March 26, 2019, to coordinate national resilience to an electromagnetic pulse. This is March 2019. Then late in 2019 is when the trial balloon of the Navy, the obscure, the one obscure PR department in Department of Defense, besides the Coast Guard, is the Navy. They just don't talk. Loose lips sink ships. But they said UFOs are real. So, we had this confluence of just weird behavior. So when you have weird behavior, you got to notice it, If your animals were acting weird, what do? You take them to the vet. Any weird behavior as a human, you notice a pattern, well, you have to seek the answers, If you're not feeling right, oh my God, am I having a heart attack? What's happening? You go to WebMD, no, I have cancer. Whatever's happening right here in this tightness in my chest is cancer, or it's a cramp. Check your pulse and wait a few minutes and see if you don't have shortness of breath. And it was just a cramp and not cancer after all, or a heart attack. So you have to make your suppositions when you see really weird behavior. And this is the federal government behaving really, really, really weirdly. And then we just have so many crazy events happening in the sky, and by our own observation, our shadows are longer, the sun is super brighter, we have two cloud covers, um, the moon is acting weird. These two comets. Comet Atlas is in what you see in 15 minutes into our friend Ray at Ray's Astrophotography is that Comet Atlas is in fact in pieces because his own 11-inch telescope, which is a mother of a telescope, is seeing these pieces. And by the way, our friend Michael Yeager, he says he has an 11-inch telescope, and Ray's 11-inch and what he produces versus what we see with Michael Yeager's production, it looks like Michael Yeager's 11 inches is what you're telling someone you're trying to impress at a bar, because his 11-inch telescope is wow. That didn't come out right. Don't try to make innuendo an analogy, Charles. It never works. It's never funny, really. It's funny in here, but when it comes out there, it just never, yeah. All right, so Ray and his telescope show us a bunch of pieces flying through space, identified and numbered by his own software. And it doesn't make sense for what we're seeing. Now, here is where it kind of makes sense to us who are just taking in what Partha is teaching us. And this made Partha go, all right. What if the gods are still at war? What if these UFOs do represent the creators, the Anunnaki, and what is written in the stone tablets? And what if one of the gods wanted to make sure that the body and the head did not unite? That is one line of research I'm not scared to embark in. What if the gods are still at war? Because weird things are happening to the earth. And I was thinking this morning, I was like, what if these two comets, which have strange chemical signatures and are not behaving anything like a comet should, were heading for the earth? And the earth was suddenly moved out of the way, and one of the key comet components was taken out, was the head of Rahu. I don't know. I don't mind investigating that. But again, and then a month and a half ago, the president issued another EMP order for all the electrical companies in the United States to prepare for an EMP. So there's a lot of strange behavior that is really not adding up. So if you want to grow in your if you want to grow in your understanding of the electrical universe that we keep talking about, the Thunderbolts project is where we gather and get information. And the people there that see these objects, for the most part, are not surprised by what they see in space. But the professionals are always constantly surprised by everything. So we had and somebody brought it up in the comment thread. That's why I'm talking about it now. That we had an asteroid break all the rules and become a comet about 3 or 4 days ago, and suddenly develop a tail. Well, the electrical universe community has answers to that, where the astrological community and astronomical community is just clueless. If you're going to be an astronomer, you better know astrology, and you better know the old astrology, not the new agey stuff. And you should understand electrical principles, I think, because those are my observations. Everybody's impressed with my 3-inch cat bowl, my friend. It's the rage of the universe. Have you not seen the memes? Thank you, Andrew. Pain. You're a pain. You're a pain. Hi, I am nobody. Here's somebody here. Ben B, hello. Biddy. Everything's fast moving here, you know? What I do professionally and what I do personally is where there's a void, I try to first understand why there's a void of anything, and then fill that void necessary. If, I'm having conversations with friends and we suddenly get a quiet spot, well, that's uncomfortable. It's awkward. Throw something in, start the conversation. If I'm working on a project, somebody quits, and we don't have a resource to fill that project, well, I study up on it and I fill it as best I can until we can fill it, or I'm able to deliver what the project needs in that sense. Hey Nadine, good morning, good morning. Kamil Adam, good morning, hello. I say good morning because I'm in Spain and it's 11 o'clock in the morning. Yes, my music talents are still genicky. Yeah. And it's very difficult to practice that stuff, honestly. So, but I'm trying. Um, so Wayne, good morning. The comment thread, of course, will stay open as usual. I'm going to be winding this up in 5 minutes. What I'm asking everybody to do is so that we can gather our train of thought on a resource we can trust. Ray's Astrophotography did an hour-long live session looking at Comet Atlas and Comet Swan yesterday. Recorded it, gave some brilliant observations, and his observations are not meeting up with NASA and JPL, what they tell us. So he's having his moments of doubt, like we've all had, where you just say, "I'm not the expert. What I am seeing is not what I've been following." So maybe he's going through a awakening. So I'm asking everybody. I've left a link in the in the description section below. The note, what I call the show notes, but it's actually the description section. Go look at Ray's Astrophotography, and also if you want to become familiar with the with the with the electrical universe that we've been talking about, I've left a link to one of their very good videos on the most recent comet, and I'm going to also post a link to our faith section, which we are going on, and that's Partha. And so I didn't do a link to his show because usually we talk on his show and we do links, but he brings the portion where I have faith in what he is reading in the sky. All right, I can't read the sky, but he can read the sky. The way he is reading the sky, he's foretold events, and those events have happened. And not only he, but the people in India who still practice astrology and know how to read the sky versus what has been written thousands upon thousands of years ago. So so what he reads is what I'm going on. I'm going on the reader's faith, in what has been written. And if something happens, I'm prepared. And just like the 23rd, if nothing happens, nothing happens. We're okay. Life goes on great. If you get ridiculed, then you know those people are not seeing the world the way you're seeing it. And so anybody that ridicules you for your observations is because their own reality is pushing back, and that's the first stages of grief, and it's called denial. There's going to be also people that go, wow, your observations are interesting. The way we can make somebody say your observations are interesting is if we're filled with knowledge and confidence in what we study. And when we hit things that we just can't figure out, well, we try to find an expert that can explain it. We can do some more observation, and we're like, oh, okay, and then we're educated. So we're going to do all of our studying with Partha with Ray and the Thunderbolts project as far as the breadcrumb projects goes. Does not stop you from doing your own investigations and bringing information back to us, because this is a project and I am a project manager. Good morning, Rhonda. Uh, what are your observations of Venus? What are your observations of where Comet and Atlas? Do you see two shiny little emeralds um, to the upper left and upper right of Atlas? Hi, Maria. That's what we are. We are a gathering of like-minded people asking questions and getting answers. That is the great thing about this is we ask questions, we get answers. I have the full I reserve the full right to be wrong in any of the things that I proclaim and um, make observations on and make conclusions on. I always reserve the right to be wrong. Yes. This channel is being supported by Epic Charles, a Facebook page, where everybody who works on the Facebook machine, which is usually 40 and above, um, we are Epic Charles. That is our home on the Facebook machine. It's not the Breadcrumbs Project. The Breadcrumbs Project is actually a charity, I think in either New York or Washington, D.C., that helps feed people that don't have means or resources. So I'm not going to complain about that. If we have to change the name of this group, so be it. And also another sponsor of the Breadcrumbs Project is Epic for You. Epic for You for all your Twitter needs when it comes to the Breadcrumbs Project. And the Twitterers are usually 30 below and the professional trolls. So the conversation continues there at Facebook at Epic Charles, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And also your favorite cat and cat bowl memes are available there too. Free of charge. All right, that's good product right there, and so you're getting value for your buck. If you're somebody that's interested in cat memes and cat bowl memes, then Epic Charles is the place for you. And then if again, to engage in the conversation, and we've been visited by some very interesting people in the Twitter feed that have shared some stunning information with us that we can't verify. So conversations happen, and we bring the things to you that we can verify, but being informed is being informed, and Twitter and Facebook are places that we get informed. All right. One thing's for sure. We mustn't be afraid. We mustn't be afraid. But we're looking at the 28th. After the 28th, I got nothing. Uh, something happens. We're prepared if nothing happens. Well, I want to ask NASA, what the hell? And JPL also. So we're going to be hammering that at the Breadcrumbs Project if nothing happens after the 28th. To leave all the people hanging like they have, and the epic misinformation, epic your name campaign that they've done is if it was done for no reason, then I'm mad. If it was done for a reason, I hope we understand why very quickly. But President Trump and Elon Musk have been pointing to the sky. Their Twitter feed has been dropping gems. Look to the sky, look to the sky, look to the sky. So something's up. All right, guys. I am winding my portion up. Again, asking you to watch Ray's very, 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 very important and very enlightening video. The link is in the description below, and to get up on The Electric Universe, that's the comment section below. I don't know if I can edit it while it's live. I'll try to put Partha's YouTube channel also in the comment section, but I'm going to go ahead and drop it in the comment thread. Let's see. Any questions before I go offline? Again, Thunderbolt's project is fascinating actual science and not the fairy tales that that NASA tells us. So let's see. Partha. Where are you, Partha? Bear with me, guys. I have to do my own work here. I'm not really good at it. The reason I'm cutting this short is I have to go to work in a half hour, and so I'll be working for the next 4 or 5 hours. Why can I not find your... as a show producer, Andrew, would you please link Partha's channel in the thread a few times? If you wouldn't mind advertising that and fixing my shortcoming, I would be very, very, very grateful. And as many times as anybody can repeat it in it. That is what we're talking about. What Partha is talking about is now what we're talking about. Oh, doubt's fine, Biddy. Doubt. This channel is built on doubt. I'm doubting what NASA is telling us. I'm doubting what JPL is telling us. I'm turning to faith, where faith has always been very good for me. So, Biddy, no problem. Again, this is a discussion. This, sometimes warnings work, and sometimes warnings are just a dress rehearsal to the big show. So from Louisiana's perspective, when we have hurricane season and a hurricane's coming close to us, those of us that have experience with hurricanes, we go ahead and get prepared if it comes or not. And if it doesn't come, then we have a lot of cookies and beer and milk and bread to eat and drink, and we're fine. But nobody in Louisiana mocks anybody for preparing for a hurricane, because when a hurricane comes and you're not prepared, that sucks. All right, guys, winding this up. Nobody has any questions? Doubt. The truth is out there. All right. So think good thoughts, say good things, and do good deeds. That's all that we ask. All right, guys, thank you so much. We'll see you in the see you in a few hours. Comment thread stays open. once again and just putting a lot of pieces of the puzzle back together. And I got to tell you that we just didn't come to these conclusions that we are talking about now. And the only thing that I've gotten wrong is the whole EMP thing, which is fine. I didn't make that up myself. That came from the actions of the federal government. And I know that the federal government doesn't act on its own. When it does something, it does it because there's something pushing it to do it, especially a Donald Trump. So all of a sudden, the federal government decides that it needs to protect itself from an EMP. We have no nuclear threat. Then they tell the power companies to protect themselves from an EMP. We have no nuclear threat. So, I mean, that sends off alarms. Then we had this big commotion about Atlas, which was very exciting and got a lot of our attentions. And then NASA goes silent and then starts feeding us misinformation. I hope everybody had a chance to go say hi to Ray and to see his good work that he did. And hi, Partha, how are you? Congratulations on the new 150 subscribers, and thank you for the cross subscribers and the information that you are bringing. We came together because it was time to come together and enlighten a lot of people as to what is coming and what is happening, and educating us greatly and at so many levels. The federal government says an EMP is possible. I say an EMP is possible. We have these two comets coming together, and I see some things with my eyes that don't quite jibe with what NASA's been lying to me about. Their credibility is shot, and so many of us have that same feeling, and none of us are happy about that. This is not woohoo, we hate NASA. This is a great disappointment to many of us. Why do they do what they have to do? Well, they do what they have to do because of the whole UFO situation, and that's just another tripwire that I had. And going back, I saw a comment earlier that somebody in Data's data stream, a troll, was saying that I was promoting fear. I'm not going to limit what I say by what somebody hears and chooses to repeat. By the same token, I still maintain my Louisiana fundamental political philosophy, which is I don't care if you talk good about me, I don't care if you talk bad about me, so long as you are talking about me. That's fine. And everybody who's been here knows I don't promote fear. I just talked of an EMP, a possible EMP event. Why? Because NASA went silent on it, and the government was taking those measures. And then we had the other bombshell of UFOs. So I did some math, and my calculations were wrong, and Partha is here to correct my calculations. The steps that got me here are not fundamentally incorrect. It's just one assumption that I had wrong, and it generated a calculation an expectation that we would have an event. Now, we may still have an event. I'll have to look that up, Partha. But Partha is talking about something happening on the 28th. And then we had Mohammed pop in here and so kind. So kind, so generous. And, I think all of us felt that he was uncomfortable sharing too much. He obviously wasn't going to share what country in the Middle East he is from. All of us asked. But he said his country, no problem, preparing for an EMP on the 28th. And Partha sees an event happening on the 28th. And then there's just several other commentary that keeps pointing 28th. My buck stops there as far as this goes. You know, the further steps that happen after the 28th, we'll have to reevaluate that. I'm still working. I'm still doing my thing. Like somebody else in the comment thread, I've got well over $500 of supplies in case something does happen. I'm going to eat all of it. You know, the only thing I have to go to the store for now is veggies and meats. I've got everything else. So I'm kind of cool with that because, you know, restocking the pantry is how I'm going to function the rest of my life. Uncle Scorp, you got to work. All right. It's not an end-of-life event. You know, we have to understand that it's not an end-of-life event. Depending on what happens is how you react. You know, and this is kind of you know, how soldiers function, and soldiers are famous for saying, like nobody else, hurry up and wait. When you have to think about moving yourself, take care of yourself, that's fine. When you have to think about mobilizing 400 men, most of them, you know, 18, 19, 20, and 21, well, you have to start that process slowly, and you know, and you mobilize, but before you mobilize, you train. So, and after you've done that well enough, then you see the battlefield and the lay of the terrain. The enemy is not going to give itself away. You just have to be well trained enough and ready for what you are facing. We're not facing an end-of-life event. If we're facing an end-of-life event, guys, you know, the story's over. But we see our government taking certain actions, and there are being certain reactions, and you know, people that work for government, I know all you are going, ugh. How many of y'all have more than 40 years of experience of working in government at different levels, and had a secret clearance? I mean, who's actually worked with these human beings? I know we have the TV molder. These people aren't going to warn us. These people are they're rolling out their plan. This is, you know, this is all part of their plan. Have you seen how Americans behave? What kind of plan are Americans going to be taken over by? Americans get mad enough, they put a Donald Trump in office. That's what Americans do. So you can roll out whatever plan you want to on Americans, and I'm just using that because I just know how they act. They're not going to be down with any new world order. They've already pushed back on all of that. And you push back harder on them, they're going to push back even more. All right, so they're rolling out their plan. This is all part of their plan. Their plan right now is just trying to hang on to what's happening. They've already projected to us two things: UFOs, EMP. I mean, that's just the reality of what we have to work with on what the federal government has done and is doing. And they are mobilizing a lot of troops. They are mobilizing a lot of troops, and I think it's called warp speed. So, you know, I am reacting to what the federal government does, the United States federal government. I know those people. So all of this, you know, they, you better say we. You just have to put yourself in their shoes, because they're not a separate being. You don't remove somebody's humanity just because you wear a uniform. You take off the uniform, you still go home to a family. You got a mother, you got a father, you got brothers and sisters, you have friends, you have dear friends, you have people you hate. I mean, you're still a being of emotion. So this whole idea is they're not going to prepare us. They're doing the best they can, people. That's all you got to say. I mean, that's where I'm coming from. You can do what you want to do, But everybody that the they is, they love, they hate, they hurt. Fundamentally, if you are an American, you are a person that wants to help. Usually you don't know how. But, that's just the American way. So, and if you wear a uniform, you care more for your country than your average citizen. If you are a spook, and by a spook, I mean dark ops, whatever branch, whatever service. If you are a spook, if you are in the spy agencies, you are constantly putting your life on the line for your country. Okay? That's the trajectory of these people, the they. So that's why I never subscribe to the they. They're going to warn us as best they can when they can. Donald Trump is a genius at telegraphing what he's doing, what he is going to do. He's going to say something, then deny. Say something, deny. Do something, deny. And the idiots listen to the denial, but the person that knows how to read them listens to the projecting because he wants a good deal. He's telling you what he wants, but he's waiting for you to catch up. Let's see, and just catching up with real quick. Spartan, hi. Jennifer, welcome. Hey, Epic. Hey, young Alex. Hey, everybody. Hey, Michelle. Welcome to the family. Koker Moe. And hi, DT Tom 7. Hey, Bo Styles, again, thank you for that donation yesterday. That was very meaningful and again, very wonderful. We're expecting something the 28th. We have a worst case, and this is how I operate my life, okay? I'm not a procrastinator. What is it? Not procrastinator. Prognosticator. Prognosticator. I just got off of work and my brain is drained. I'm not a I can't foretell the future. I'm not a future teller. I just see the lay of the land, how people are reacting and acting, and then I make the decisions about what I'm doing. And if they're and then I see, best case scenario, worst case scenario, and where do I fall in that situation. Thankfully, we have warnings for the worst case scenario, right? Best case scenario, nothing happens. Okay scenario, and again, I'm not a fear monger. I don't want to scare you. And that's, I don't know why I know a troll is a troll is a troll. But I definitely don't want to scare you. I want to inform you. I want you to learn from others. I want you to grow. I want us to make the best decisions possible. And in that process, you follow people, you follow leaders who bear good fruit. The only thing that I haven't bear fruit on is the EMP. Everything else that I've ran the gamut on, right on. NASA lying, the nonsense with Comet Atlas. I'm golden on everything. And the 28th is when I think, out of faith and friendship, that something's going to occur. You don't do anything different in your life. You don't quit your job. You don't do anything different. But if you see a really bright light from space, or you hear the loud noise, and we've heard the noises from India, so we have an idea of what a loud noise is when we're talking loud. It's not jet airplane loud, it's not sound barrier breaking loud, it's louder than that, all right? So India's gotten some 5-second warnings as to what it will be should something like that come on the 28th. but something's coming on the 28th. The Pentagon, and not Donald Trump, but the Pentagon has acknowledged UFOs. So that's not even a debate anymore about UFOs. Are UFOs real? Are they being driven by fallen angels? No. You know, it's an advanced species. It's an advanced interstellar species. Is it the Anunnaki? Could be. But UFOs are real, and it's not any loony saying it. It's the stodge of the old Pentagon. So I mean, I have 3 very serious tripwires that are indicating something's going on, and then there's just all the craziness of space that's happening. So best case, worst case scenario. Best case scenario, nothing happens. Next best case scenario, something does happen, and it's a loud noise, bright light, and a minor EMP. Then the worst case scenario is you add all of that stuff up, but you have a plasma discharge that hits the Earth. So a large plasma event, which Muhammad was describing yesterday, which is, he didn't make it up. It's a 1,400-year-old. It's a 1,400-year-old prophecy by the prophet, by the main prophet Muhammad, and people wouldn't live and die by what the prophet says if they didn't see truth in his words. They don't practice Islam because it's fun. It's a very difficult religion to practice, and there has to be, just like we do, Partha and I talk about game theory. There has to be reward, and there has to be punishment, and that keeps you in the game. So there's game theory to it, and the plasma discharge is reflected by, if you're standing up, you could be part of a current that connects to the ground. So if we're having a highly electrical event on the Earth's surface, and there's great lightning going off, if you stand up, you become part of the current that is surrounding the Earth, and it's what happens when somebody is struck by lightning. But like Muhammad says, if you crouch down, as Muslims do during prayer, and we've all seen it, you put your forehead to the ground, then you yourself become a Faraday cage. Okay? You become a Faraday cage. If you crouch down to the ground like a Muslim does, then nothing can really connect to you to make that grounding effect. And it also has a lot to do with staying inside as well during this event. So if you're at work, stay inside, and if you hear a loud sound, you crouch like a Muslim. If anybody laughs at you, you're just saying, look, I have military training of some kind. I just duck and cover when I hear a loud noise. I'll come out when I feel it's safe. And my phone's in the microwave. Don't go to the microwave. And that's what you say at work. Slap your phone in the microwave, unplug it, cut the line, cut the cord to it, and then go find somewhere that's really private and do the Muslim prayer. That's what I'm going to do, inside or outside. Loud noise happens, everything in their Faraday cage, and I'm praying to God Almighty. The music's still going? I got to stop the music. All right, sorry about the music. I'm trying to give some entertainment value. Now you know I'm not perfect, so I'm going to make mistakes. I do a pretty good show, but I make mistakes. I've made some great, what I think are some great observations, but I'm going to make mistakes. Yeah, it is cha-cha. Bongo madness. Got to get that right. I'm still going to do it, guys. I got to practice. I want to deliver good quality entertainment because a lot of you listen to us in our discussion while you're working, while you're doing something, and so there's value to what happens here, and there's value to me in what I've learned and grown. I mean, exponentially. So I'm still going to try to render a good show and use a lot of radio, TV, entertainment stuff. We actually have a subscriber that is writing and compiling a score for us. We're going to have our own song, and so yeah, we're going to have our own song. So I've got to get good at this mixing thing. So I'll keep on working on it. Matter of fact, I'm making a change right now that should be able to help. All right. I mean, he goes right for the cat thing. He's got, you're talking about lasers earlier. Oh, Andrew, you have laser focus and the wit and the gesturisms isms and the everything. Hey, Spartan, man, anything I put that had that they can demonetize us and shut us down on, they're ready to do it. They shut our channels down quick and easy, and they demonetize me on virtually anything that I go out of line. I would love Prodigy on here, but boom, off the air. Jester's gonna jest exclusive. Welcome to the channel. Good to have you. Yeah, player's gonna play. Jester's gonna jest, and it's in Andrew's blood. My co-host, the guy who runs the chat screen and the chat session. I said chat screen, but the chat here. His name's Epic Forever, but I believe he was baptized. I'm gonna guess baptized Andrew, and he does a fantastic job not only with the chat, but he also manages all of our any other media that we have out there, Twitter's, Facebook, any of that cultural trash that's out there. He's into it and he manages it. And somehow he doesn't screen out the cat bowl memes. And I'm sure I've talked to him about it, but somehow, boom, a cat bowl meme, boom, another cat bowl, boom, boom, two or three cat bowl. And so I'm guess he's missing. He's a busy guy. He's a busy guy, so he can't catch it all. And that tells you how busy he is, because I'm sure that if he had his way, there would be no cat bowl memes on any of our social media. So Annie, fundamentally, not fundamentally, NASA tried to do its thing, but yeah, there was a bunch of engineers that were from the Nazi parties. They were in Alabama. They were ensconced in Alabama. They were doing their jet propulsion work there, away from everybody in the very well-armed Huntsville, Alabama, which is now called Rocket City. So they didn't go to Florida. They didn't put them anywhere near any of our government centers. They put them in the middle of Alabama, again with very, very well armed neighbors who just frankly are not moved by any of their stuff. So they were in Huntsville, Alabama. They were doing their work. We were doing our work as NASA in launching rockets, and we were failing. And so we turned to that group, and they got us off the planet. So it was their great work that did it. Were they Nazis? No, I just don't. People had to work, and so they had to sign papers. Did they buy into the ideology of the Nazi Party? No, no, no. They just had to do what they had to do. If you were going to work in rockets and you were going to make practice your art, unfortunately had to do it for the U.S. I mean, for the German army. You know, um, a lot of people that work in munitions for America. I mean, they're not thrilled they have to do it, but they have to do it for a job. Kathy, don't get on Twitter. You're fine. Welcome, Kathy Sevenard, to the Breadcrumbs Project. This is me talking, but I'm chairman of a project. So I'm the project manager here, and so I bring things that come up through the chain, present them, talk about them, and people, and then it's a free for all in the commentary section. And then if you want to get a little more orderly, um, you can reach out into the other channels that we interface with. Data 1B has his point of view. I respect it. Partha has come uh, with the gems and has enlightened us greatly, me personally. And on top of that, he has his team of people that also help. Our Facebook page is Epic Charles, which is Epic Andrew's handle here on uh, on the YouTubery, and Charles is yours truly. And then Twitter, I don't want any part of that dumpster fire. I am there. I have a presence, but that's all Epic, and it's Epic 4E. We don't use the Breadcrumbs Project handle on the Twitters and the Facebook. First, because it's not available, and frankly, I just don't want to become popular. I want to have the subscriber base that we have, that we're serious in our search, and we have a great guru in Partha who is teaching us, and he's going to be part of our journey here, which I'm very happy about. Where do you go after? Spartan, um, you know, if we stay here, we stay here cranking this out. If we go to the next level, we'll go to the next level, brother. If there's an EMP, we rebuild the grid, and the Breadcrumbs Project comes back up. So the family will find a way to reform. That's for sure, Spartan. Thank you for that. It means so much to me and Epic. Absolutely, we do feel like this is a family. We've built community here. If you don't understand us, that's all of our stories, man. You know, we understand each other. That somebody else doesn't understand us, it's because they haven't studied what we've studied. Um, and Partha and I have a synchronicity of understanding because we have studied so much, and it's stuff that other people don't want to study. Um, so here's the deal. I'm going to work with Partha in the mornings. I'm going to try to have a Zoom session with him in the mornings, and then and post any updates that we have as a regular video. And then at 1 o'clock in the afternoons, we're going to do the live sessions. We've been doing these live sessions as much as possible because we felt events were coming. Events did happen, just not what we expected. China goes dark. Hailstorms of biblical proportions all over the world. The shocking sounds that happen in China, in other places in the world, in India, and they keep happening in India. Oddly enough, those things keep on going in India. So, and Partha, Partha expects it, and so what Partha is really saying, that there's not, in his view and how he reads the skies and the tales of the ancestors that relate to what the story of the sky is saying, is he's saying we're expecting something the 28th. He doesn't feel it's going to be as big as an EMP. It's not how he reads the sky. And sky readers have been going on throughout history. and they've been the greatest. All of the great Jewish um, scholars read the skies and the symbols and used that to incorporate into their. They used astrology. Part of what they were writing and thinking and how they moved had to do with how the stars were behaving, and that is what Partha brings to the table. So we expect something the 28th. Um, Mohammed, one of our contributors, says it could be as significant as a plasma discharge. I'm guessing EMP from the actions that our government has taken, and then Partha says, "Don't worry, the Creator's in control. Something's going to happen, and it's just more signaling." Which I have no problem with that. That's 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 how you move people. You don't do it immediately. You slowly get them moving. You slowly get them rolling. You slowly get them in that way. And everybody says, well, they're not going to tell us. Well, they are already telling us. We're just not listening. We're listening. We're ready for Donald Trump to say, aliens exist. He's already done that, and nobody's moved. So that they're not going to warn us. They're already warning us. UFOs are real. Space Force. EMP protection. You can't get much more telegraphing from the U.S. government than that. It could be it could be the ascension. Absolutely. All the cards are on the table, and we just have to learn to read them. I just did a tarot. Did you see what I did there? Tarot card reading thing. Yep, I'm slick like that. Listen to yourself. What did I just say, Andrew? Waiting for the comment thread to catch up. I listen to yourself. What? He said some strange stuff. Yeah, and just know that there's a delay. So if you post something, I'm probably not going to see it because I'm talking to the camera, and I can't talk to you and carry on with what's happening in the comment thread. And usually, whenever Epic talks in all caps, he's yelling at me. The music's still on. Yeah, I'm not a mix master yet, and it's all in virtual, so it's not as yeah. I don't have the sliders in front of me. One day. Epic, did I say something off the chain? All right, so fundamentally, we are going to pick up. I'm going to keep this comment thread. Let's see, open for another couple of hours because we're talking. Bring this comment thread down, and then open another one. And then I'll be talking to Partha tomorrow, um, and we'll do a Zoom, and then I will compile that into a video and then upload it. Oh, hey, monetization is kicked in. All right. I'll make an adjustment on that. Okay. They're unwatchable. All right. Um, so this channel has now been accepted by YouTube in general. So I have to go now learn how to not make ads pop up on stuff now. So I'll go do some research on that. Epic. Please let them know that it's a learning curve. But hey, we've been accepted by YouTube. We are an official YouTube monetized channel now. So that's something. We are close to 2,000 subscribers. Um, when when we reach 2,000 subscribers, I am to drink my wine not out of a fine Roman style chalice or a grail, if you will, but a out of the bottle, swigging out of the bottle. I know there's some people who have struggled with alcoholism. My father was an alcoholic, so I can understand how that bothers you. I will try not to make a big deal out of it. But then again, I'm in Spain, and we live by a different way there, and I want to share that portion of it. And we always have to be sensitive, but as you know, and somebody that especially if you're practicing Alcoholics Anonymous, and you should. I mean, if you have alcoholism and you have a problem with attending, and it may be that sometimes the AA meetings are not a cool group, but you have to find one, even if it's virtual or something. But you learn in AA that this is your struggle. You can't influence. You're already making a mistake if you're trying to control somebody else's life and style. That already is a mistake of you not dealing with your own struggle that launches alcoholism. It's really an internal thing, and I understand it perfectly, um, and that's why also it can't be allowed to influence the jocularity of this one channel, and most AA people would be like, yeah, no, no, you got to do you. You can't do me. So if it bothers me, I can go to another website. I have a whole internet to go to. I'm not going to tell you how to do you, and that's just one of the fundamentals, you know, you know, and it's the prayer. Lord, allow me to change the things I can and to accept the things that I can't. Hey, Kathy, bless your heart. Yes, don't drink. If it's not you, don't do it. My mom drank white wine and scotch and never anything else. Right before she passed away and she knew she was passing away, we were having a crawfish boil and everybody's drinking beer. My mom was enjoying her wine, and the only thing that worked for her was one arm. She pointed to a beer, and we're like, Mom, you want to try a beer? She's like, you don't like it? She's like, but I just want to try it. And I'm like, and she tried it. She's like, her one arm, nope. Reached for something else and got rid of it. No, and you do you. You do you. You do you. And not only do you, but do you so well and educate you and open your spirituality, and if you're confident in you, although you're not going to rub you in other people's face, well, you just take the slings and arrows of people that don't live in your understanding of the world, they'll push back on it. All right, Jennifer. Definitely 1 p.m. Eastern. We will definitely be here, but this comment thread will be going on for quite a while. Listen to yourself. Very good advice. Michelle, again, if it's not your thing, don't do it. Please don't drink wine unless it's part of your thing. So we're expecting something the 28th, and we're doing this by faith and friendship, and nothing else. I'm not pointing to anything. I hope everybody has had a chance to go to Ray's Astrophotography and see his video review of of what happened with Comet, Atlas, and Swan. I'm down with it. I'm absolutely down with his view and review of where the comets are now and the current status of Atlas. And again, Atlas has done nothing but been misinformative. Ah, very good, Janky. Very good. Why? Why, Andrew? Why are the cat memes becoming popular? How did that happen? Of all things, I think it was a hacker. I'm sure it was a hacker. Um, so, any questions? Any questions? Uh, boiling. Boiling disinfects water too. Boiling, I think, is probably one of the best disinfectants out there. Even better, boiling and catching the steamed water. If you survival thing. So if you are stuck with salt water, um, if you have the means to boil, you boil, and if you have some plastic, you can put over what's the boiling water and catch the steam. Then that is super clean, clear, salt-free, and bacteria-free water. Also dirt-free and all that kind of stuff. So um, cats are funny. Cats are evil. My I've loved all of my cats, and I can would live within their eviality. Um, the cat that I have now is a 14-year-old calico kitty, a disgruntled 14-year-old calico kitty, and she is perpetually in disgruntledness. Um, and her previous owner, who abandoned her here in Spain, really never understood her. And she just likes to fight. She likes to play. She gets her outbursts, gets that done, and then she's done for the day. It doesn't make her mean. It doesn't make her and not fighting with her doesn't make her any less meaner. It's just she has to spar. She has to do her thing. So uh, pretty much first thing in the morning we do our sparring. We do our little bit of fighting. And she gets all excited, and so she finds little places to hide. And then when I come down the hallway and turn the corner, she comes up and does her little paws at my feet and then runs off, and it's just hilarious. You always let you be you. And and I couldn't tell her how to manage her cat, but she treated her cat like a baby. And a cat's not a cat, a calico cat especially, and so she was always frustrated and angry with the cat. Now the cat has the best life. She loves mornings. She doesn't come wake me up. She doesn't do anything. But when I wake up and I sit up, she comes in instantly, rubs up against me, gives me 10 or 15 minutes to wake up, and then we wrestle, we tussle. Hey, dog and puppy, thank you so much for all of what you shared with today, and give the dogs a good old scratchola for me, please. Yeah, Spartan. Animals are better than people. People know good and evil. Animals are unconditional in what they do. Uh-oh, realist. Yeah, cats have great personalities. Huh. I don't know what's on Igor's video. Spooky how? Is it clouds? Can you just give me a description? Exclusive or Dog Van Life? Hi, Dog Van Life. Thank you for all that you've done and all your support. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Michelle. I think so. I think all calico kitties are inherently grumpy. They're curmudgeoning, aren't they? I mean, I love curmudgeons because every curmudgeon has a sense of humor. Few people get it, but when you do, curmudgeons and truly grumpy people know they're grumpy, and you can pick on them for it, you know. And so, yeah, once you understand their grumpiness, you know, it's part of their humor. Corona cover up for EMP. Partha, I can't agree with you more. I can't agree with you more. It's just, you know, my curiosity, Partha, as to what's going to happen on the 28th. Hi. Hello, Partha. Hey, Jim. From what we see from Atlas and Swan, I'm only using a person who I trust, who has their own telescope, their own software, and that's Ray's Astro Photography. Um, he has said that the planets have passed each other and intersected, um, but they don't look right, and certainly Comet Atlas does not look right. If you go, I have a link in what I call the show notes, but in the description below, to go check out Ray's astrophotography and and see the good work that he's done and see how he describes the comets. Um, and I'll go through something uh, very you know, to say how I got here because I'm an investigative project, but I'm just a naturally curious engineer who has a lot of government experience, technology experience, and military experience. So I just understand a lot of when I see something that's not behaving right, when I see something that I know not behaving right, then it gets my attention. All of this started with Comet Atlas because breaking news, this thing was intense. It was going to be crazy. It was something, so it got my attention. And there's two articles that came out, and then nothing. And you know my for whatever reason my Nibiru, my Planet 9, Planet X, Planet 12, which you know, if we can believe NASA anymore, but for them to have to say that there's a Planet 9, Planet X, Planet 12, you know, that is a tripwire. We had Comet Oumuamua, which is a tripwire. Everybody here knows the nature of Comet Oumuamua. I've lectured it. Then we had Comet Borisov. That was another tripwire. Then we had President Trump sign an executive order in March of 2019 uh, uh, mandating that federal agencies reinforce themselves, prepare themselves for an EMP. Um, and then in September of 2019, the most stodgy, unmovable bureaucracy called the Pentagon, especially the U.S. Navy, did a 180 on UFOs and admitted to UFOs, admitted that there is UFOs. You know, if there's UFOs, then there's alien life. That's not a big jump. That's not a big leap to make. So we have those two issues juxtaposed, and no, all those issues juxtaposed, and then Comet Atlas, and then month and a half ago, President Trump also mandated that the power companies gird themselves and double check that they are ready to sustain an EMP. You know, so you have all of these things which are major events that we don't see why the federal government is taking these actions, but they are, and they are significant actions. Why are the significant actions about an EMP? The only time on the planet Earth that we suffer an EMP is during a nuclear event. And if you're having a nuclear war event, then the last thing you're going to be worried about for quite a while is the after effect of an EMP. And if you look at our current geopolitical situation, which is always a mess, guys, it's just never going to be good. So if you look at the current geopolitical mess, there's nothing nuclear threatening us, right? There's no saber rattling in a nuclear way from Putin and Russia, and Lord bless the Chinese, they've got enough to deal with. They're not saber rattling. I mean, they're doing their stuff in their oceans that they're going to do because, the communist military just has its own way of doing things, and they are shit stirrers. But they're not. And even North Korea, they can't get a nuke to us. So there's no reason for the president to do those 2 executive orders. And mind you, he could have done those without executive order. An executive order means now. This happens now. He could have said, through other normal back channel, just send a message out to all the secretaries of the different departments. Just, can you please make sure that we're okay with an EMP. That's not what he did. He did an executive order. He could have had the Commerce Secretary or the Energy Secretary to just do an investigation, a project, or a communication with all the energy companies to make sure that they're okay with an EMP. He didn't do that. He did an executive order. I mean, that's a hammer. Because of our mainstream media just thinks that presidents just are generating those. No, those are something that is his biggest bat that he can swing without getting undue attention. And these executive orders were downplayed. All right, they were very downplayed. But the people in the press that asked the question were like, protect against an electromagnetic pulse. Why? Why would we do that? I mean, do we have a war coming up? And the order is called the National Order on Coordinating National Resilience to Electromagnetic Pulses. So it's not just making sure that we're ready for one, but that there's a coordinated national resilience. So there's one person, there's one office directing this from up high. So not only is there an order to go with this, there's a structure to go with this order. And it was issued on March 26, 2019, and it has to do with infrastructure and technology. Now I'll read section 1. Purpose: an electromagnetic pulse (EMP) has the potential to disrupt, degrade, damage technology and critical infrastructure systems. Human-made or naturally occurring EMPs. There's no naturally occurring EMPs. Can affect large geographic areas. We've never had an EMP naturally that affect a large geographic area. Disrupting elements critical to the nation's security and economic prosperity, and could adversely affect global commerce and stability, which is absolutely true. Federal government must foster sustainable, efficient, and cost-effective approaches to improving the nation's national resilience to the effects of EMPs. Yeah. So, and then again, a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, he ordered that the power systems. So, that he's saying a natural EMP, uh, that means something that is not man-made. D17, Tom, no. A solar flare cannot put off an EMP. If you study the sun and understand the nature of the sun's surface is 6,000 degrees, and the sun is electrical in nature. It's not nuclear in nature at all. It is not a fission, fusion, none of that nuclear stuff is the sun. It's electrical in nature because its surface is 6,000 degrees. That orangey stuff that we see, 6,000 degrees Kelvin. Then you get out to the corona of the sun, which is what we see when you have the perfect eclipse. You see the moon and the corona of the sun. That is what we see during the eclipse. That's 1,000,000 degrees Kelvin. So you can't have the surface of the sun push out 1,000,000, from 6,000 degrees. You don't push out 1,000,000 degrees Kelvin. It just doesn't work like that. Now, if you look at a welding rod where you have two different charges meet at that point, then you're going to have a large discharge, and we see that in a welding rod. So welding rod is cool to touch, the metal is cool to touch, but where that positive negative charge meet, then boom, you have that large, bright, shiny light that we see, which is that white sunlight that you hardly can look at anymore. You definitely can't look at it with a welding helmet. Without a welding helmet, you'd burn your retinas. Okay, so you need a welding helmet to look at that bright light, but it really isn't that hot unless you get your finger close to it and touch it. Then that's got a bite. Oh yeah. So the sun does not have a flare strong enough to even reach its coma. So when we see a sun flare, it's not a flare, it's a Birkeland current. It's just a large, the sun itself, which has a very strong negative charge and attracts positive charged ions, particles, different molecules, oxygen, hydrogen, all that stuff that has a positive charge comes screaming to the surface of the sun. And the closer it gets faster and faster and faster, almost to the speed of light. And then it hits that barrier, that positive and negative barrier that is the corona of the sun. And then that's when we see that bright light. So the things that they tell us are solar flares are just Birkeland currents, and those things can't really leave the surface of the sun. They have two things. They have a charge that pulls them back, and the sun also has massive, massive, massive gravity. How massive? It can sustain the solar system. All right? So the gravity of the sun attracts, and the current, the fierce negative current of the sun attracts all these particles. No sun flare can reach the planet Earth. It would totally fry and destroy Mercury, Venus would be vaporized, destroyed, if a sun flare of such magnitude to be able to reach us, which is roughly I think we're almost like 900 million miles away from the sun, give or take, but almost 1 billion miles away from the sun. For that to reach us and to have any kind of effect on us would just be a catastrophic event for those two planets. And the sun doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. I'm sorry. So what would you call plasma that gets ejected into space? Plasma ejected into space. But plasma doesn't go like this. It dissipates. When plasma is no longer part of a current, because plasma has to be part of a current to maintain itself. Plasma just can't be floating around. Plasma is the fourth state of energy, DT, uh, D17, Tom, D17. So plasma is nothing new. It's just the fourth state of energy. It's supercharged. And you can look at the surface of the sun as a plasma. Not the surface of the sun, but the corona of the sun as a plasma. So a plasma, to exist, it has to have a highly charged environment. And plasma exists throughout the universe. So all of the galaxies of the universe are connected by plasma. And if you look at it removed, it certainly looks like the interconnectivity of a brain and how neurons connect. So you can have a plasma ejection, that can happen, but the sun isn't a source of plasma ejection like that. You need a highly electrical body that has an explosive event. So if the sun has a plasma discharge, we're done for. I mean, a plasma discharge from something like the sun would mean that it would have to get super, 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 super highly charged and have an EMP effect itself, which an EMP is a super discharge of energy. You can only get an EMP if you have just a large bank of capacitors and batteries that can hold large charge and then suddenly disperse it, but it doesn't travel very far in our planet, unless it's depending on the magnitude of energy discharging it. It wouldn't have that much of a problem in space, but every planet in the way would just be. Can we have a large plasma type discharge on our planet? Yeah, I mean there could be several things that could create that, but that charge would have to be created up over time. Yeah, my body's falling apart too. I had my first root canal last week. I feel you, Spartan. Hey, absolute. I'd really like for you to go see um, Ray's live session yesterday that he did. It's really worthwhile, actually. I mean, it's very, very informative, and you'll probably see all the things that I saw. I'm not going to tell you what I saw, but the link is in the description of the show below, and I would love for you guys to just check it out. And it's Ray's Astrophotography. He did a good job with his own telescope and his own software, uh, telling us what was happening last night with Atlas and Swan. It's really a worthwhile view. Oh, so did you catch that part where he said, "I'm not an expert"? So stuff is happening to these comets that he can no longer explain. So as you probably saw, he is hitting a wall with the explanations that we're getting and what's happening. And did you see how Comet Atlas is rendering? Like it's a bunch of pieces in his telescope. Sweet. So I don't know what happened with Atlas. Oh, I mean, I have a feeling because we have that video, and if you saw the video, then I have to go through do a whole bunch of work of Igor's, where when he was monitoring Igor at Against the Grain, when he was monitoring the videos, the Atlas, and I think no, he was just monitoring Atlas and Venus, and then something zapped Atlas while he was watching. I got to pull that back up and let y'all watch it. Oh, Michelle, I saw that earlier, and all of us here, our heart goes out to you. And here is Emma. Say hi, Emma. Michelle Wise knows about you, Calico Kitties. Say, I hate being held. One of the things I don't like, I have Asperger's. I just don't like being held. But that's Emma, 14 years old. She is quite the cat. I am so, and Emma sends her love to you too, Michelle. I'm so heartbroken. Um, Look, if you have neck or back pain, you start yoga. All right? I don't know who has neck or back pain. I don't care how old you are. You start yoga. You do yoga. Why? Because yoga fundamentally is spinal health, from the top of your spine to the bottom of your spine. Once your spine is very healthy, then you're ready for what yoga has to bring to you. But as long as you're practicing yoga, you're going to have a happy back. Thank you, Michelle. She's still mad about me taking that wine cup. No, that's not true. Who said that about it being Emma's favorite water dish? That that is that is a meme. Fake news. Fake news. Fake. Fake, I say. All right, guys. I'm going to be winding this down. My portion of it, my chitty chat portion of it, and then turn things over to you, especially Epic. You guys don't encourage each other. You separated. Dance Biker Dance and Epic Forever. You separated. No. And Cosmic, don't encourage the boys, the lads. So yeah, we're just looking towards the 28th, and we're doing so because our friend and someone that that has taught me a lot already is talking about the 28th. So hopefully tomorrow morning we can do a Zoom meeting. Hopefully keep it to half hour. But when we get going, I mean we can go to 3 hours, no problem. But I have to work, and then but I have to. I'd like to get do a meeting with him online. If I have to do any editing, then that just makes it go a lot longer. But I like to do something and get it up online as soon as possible by 5 o'clock in the morning Eastern. And so starting tomorrow, and everybody's going to be happy about that because nobody's happy about these. Nobody's happy about the constant live sessions. You guys are that can participate, but nobody's getting the recorded information. So we're going to start with Partha hopefully every morning. Oh, thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Cosmic. Yeah, Emma's precious. She's beautiful. She's a handful. She's a calico. The link is in the show description, the comments, no, not the comment section, but what I call the show notes. In the show description, he watches with his own telescope, Atlas and Swan, and he gives his own impression, and he has his own what the fuck moments. Hey, Modini, doing fine. I'm about to get offline here. The only thing new I have to say is that we are expecting something the 28th. We don't know what. It could be nothing that we feel. It may just be something that occurs in certain key spots. That's the best case scenario. The next best case scenario is that it's a mild EMP, a deafening, frightening, holy begonias noise that lets us know that okay, we have to put our equipment in whatever our Faraday cage is, whether it's a microwave or if you've built something very nice and very specialized, which is good. And you've also, if you've done that, then you've learned what a Faraday cage is. So you've made progress. It's not been a waste of time or money at all. And in the worst case scenario is that there's a large plasma event tied into it, and we've just seen massive amounts of electrical storms, and many parts of the country that shouldn't be experiencing static electricity and static discharges like zit, ow, sorry, are experiencing that. One of those countries is India. India, which is mostly pretty much, very much, especially in the bigger cities, is pretty much a humid country, so you don't get much static electricity. Well, Partha has said it's been going on for a while now, for like the last 6 months. He's been shocking himself a whole bit, and a lot of people around him have been doing it and talking about it. So we could, our planet could be building up into a highly charged environment. I don't know. I don't know why. And if that's the case, which means a massive EMP, Mohammed was kind enough to come into the chat yesterday and say, look, it's our 1400-year-old tradition that the 28th you prostrate yourself after the loud sound, because if you don't, you're going to be electrically burned. So if you prostrate yourself like a Muslim does, then that means that you become a Faraday cage yourself, and there's no point of contact to hit you like a lightning bolt would. Oh, Modini, that is weird. Oh, thank you, Cosmic Liz. Thank you so much. Love and light to you. All good things. Spartan, you're getting shocked too? What part of the country are you in? Love and light, Michelle, to you too, very much. Yeah, the 28th is Thursday. So, look, if nothing happens, you're going to know it. If you hear a sound worse than or equal to what India's heard, then that's your alert. You pop your things into whatever a Faraday cage you have, and then you prostrate yourself for a while. Peek out, look, see what's happening. But that's what I'm going to do. And all you have to know, if that loud sound happens. Am I going to tuck my head between my legs? No. I'm going to do like a Muslim does, and prostrate myself to God. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with prostrating yourself to God? I don't have a problem with that. Brace, brace. Yeah, listen to yourself. And in the Army for us, it was gas, gas, gas. If somebody just thought, and that's where I'm trained. If you have tripwires trip, you warn everybody that you care about, or you talk about it. So if you're in the military and you have the inkling of a gas attack, you don't second guess. You just yell gas, 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 gas. Everybody gets on their mop 4, and then you figure out, and then you get your biohazards technician to start testing the air to see if there's something happening. But if you feel danger, you warn, and that's what this channel did. Wow. Wow, Xbox turned itself on. Well, that definitely could happen in a highly charged environment, Michelle. Yeah, Modini, I was going to ask you, how is everything in NOLA? My sister and brother-in-law said that the weather's been pretty wicked there lately. And by the way, where are you at, Modini? Where are you at? Hey, Tom, that's not what we do here, brother. Sorry. You know, we have a variety of intelligent people here that are not fronting their religion. They add, if their religion has something to say, they add to it, Tom. But no, man, don't come with that. No religion has it right, and we've well established through very intelligent people, Partha and myself being them, that are far more educated on Christianity than you'll ever be. Okay, so don't come with a Jesus talk here. Just because you've read certain parts of the Bible and you think that you're educated, you can come slinging Jesus. Don't do that, man. Nobody here has forced their religion. It's only the people that haven't read the entire Bible, have no clue as to understanding of the fundamentals of their Christian religion, which is a Jewish religion. Jesus died a Jew. Jesus was a faithful Jew. Jesus was a kosher-eating Jew. Are you kosher, Tom? Because that's probably the first question Jesus is going to come back saying. Well, Tom, did you eat kosher? No, I don't have a contract, Jesus says. My contract is with God, and my contract is the 613 commandments that make up the covenant. When Jesus died, he died because of his Jewish beliefs. He died for his Jewish God. The New Testament was written well after Jesus died in the Aramaic language, and it was edited and compiled by Constantine. It's a political document, Tom. Don't bring your Jesus stuff here. Don't bring it. Quote Peter all you want. Quote, quote, quote. It's an edited book. Why don't you quote NASA to me? Tell me that comets are made of ice, please. Please tell me that comets are made of ice, and then bring the proof. Jesus died a Jew. Jesus' first question to you, if you're a follower of me, did you make the sacrifice of eating kosher? Oh, no, you were convenient in what you chose to eat. Because every faithful Jew is not convenient. The Jewish religion is difficult, Tom. You have to walk in Jesus' shoe. That means you have to eat kosher. That means you have to read Torah. That means you have to understand Talmud. That's walking in Jesus' shoes. It's not reading the edited book that was done by the Emperor Constantine, which was a political document that he had to pull together because his entire empire was falling apart because of all the religions. And he said, I can't have all these religions. I need to tie everything together. The Romans are really digging on these Jews and what they're saying and how they're very loving. It was a Jewish religion. Tom, do you understand? If you're going to live a perfect Christian religion, you must read Torah every year, cover to cover. You must eat kosher if you're going to live the Christian life. You can't live the life that's in the New Testament because that's just the life and times of Jesus and a bunch of other documents that Constantine put together in Constantinople. So the religion that you're practicing as a Christian is the religion of Constantinople. It's a Turkish religion, fundamentally, Tom. Your view of the perfect Christian religion has nothing to do with Jesus. It has everything to do with Emperor Constantine and what he could gather, what was left, and then put it together. And of course, he didn't put the bad parts in there, Tom. You see, the Torah is warts and all. That's an honest document. Don't bring the Jesus stuff here, Tom, please. Yeah, that's the only people that get triggered is the Jesus people. We have Hindu, we have Muslim, and they've all shared what they can. But the Christians can't share anything. They're just you're doomed if you don't think Jesus is God. It's only the Christians that do that. I don't mean to pick on Christians, but by golly, man, just bring some help from your religion and add to the potpourri that we have here. Yeah. If you're telling me I have to kiss my ass goodbye, I have the right to defend myself. And I have done so, and I've done so with Scripture. Hi, Partha. Yeah, so I was just talking. Thank you for mentioning about the shocks that you're getting, and hopefully we can talk tomorrow morning. I'm going to try to make it around 2 or 3 o'clock your time to start talking on Skype, and just see if we can do maybe a half-hour Zoom session, not a 3-hour monolith. But I just have a lot of questions about the zodiac. You've just brought so much wealth of information, and you bring your knowledge and wisdom with humility and compassion, Partha. Unlike Tom, who we just had to boot out here, who has nothing but anger and animosity, thinking he's fronting and representing his religion well, when you've just presented your story and we've just listened. And you've not had to tell us, no, you don't have to believe this. I'm just sharing what I know. Yay. Muhammad came in and shared what he knew. He didn't call us a bunch of infidels. He didn't say we were going to burn, whatever. He just said, look, this is our religious tradition. I suggest you do this. Come on. Okay, good. Yeah, let's talk tomorrow morning. But guys, I can't tell you. You have to go to a town like Mumbai, India. Most of your large cities in India are very humid places. Partha should not be getting shocked. It's cold, dry places where you build up static electricity, and Partha should not be getting static charges. So there's something in the air, and I see it as well. We always have a haze now. There's always a haze, and that just represents a charged environment. And we also are now, if you pay attention, you have two different cloud covers all day long. You have upper stratosphere clouds, and then you have lower clouds that are always there and present, never been there. So something is happening in our environment for sure. Hey, Medini. Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks, brother. All right, guys, I have to get off of this now. I've got a lot of stuff that I got to do, and I've got to take a walk to get ready for our 7 o'clock my time, but 1 p.m. Eastern live stream. So I'm going to leave this up for the chitty chatty. Oh, Miss Modini. Sorry, ma'am. Where you at? How you mama and them? Hayla. Yeah, Shu. Definitely interesting times. West has that I guess that's what I'm toning. The clouds are coming from the west, which is so unusual, and my cloud cover here is coming from the south, which is very unusual too, because south and west of me is the Atlantic Ocean, so I shouldn't be getting any clouds from them. All right, guys. Any last questions before I sign off and turn it over to our man Epic, or just carry on the conversations? North Sun. Ah, yeah, strange times. Our sun has moved north, Partha, and one of your dear friends, Angel Hope, has a video talking about how the sun has moved north, a north sun. Bye, Kathy. Thank you so much for being part of the show. All right, if nobody has King of North, Partha, I can't wait to talk to you tomorrow morning. And have a good evening, please. But you'll probably stay up and catch us on the show some more. Cygnus. If the comets line up on the 28th, make a perfect cross. We're talking Cygnus, the head joining the body again, Partha. Interesting times, interesting times. No moon. Yeah, everybody's complaining that the moon is weird. What's up with the moon? A swastika is a cross. Just because Hitler adopted the symbol doesn't take any power away from it. You know, just because evil takes something does not take the power away from it. Yeah, he did have a counterclockwise cross, and there is a famous. We have the normal swastika throughout the Basque region. It's very represented. We also have something that represents the swastika in the Basque region is called, what is it? The Liburu, which represents the four winds. Crazy weather. All right, guys, I'm getting off the line. I am pulling up the music. Hopefully I can do this right and have some fun again. All right, guys, thank you all so much for watching my little bit. And I will see you all at 1 o'clock Eastern. Thank you.